When you think of a university campus, you probably picture lecture halls, libraries, maybe the student union, right? But what if we started seeing them as what they really are, living, breathing systems? Today, we're going to dig into some really important data that shows a hidden weakness on campus, and more importantly, how we can turn that knowledge into action that actually saves lives.
So let's just start with this number, 43.5%. What if I told you that's the percentage of students who have no idea what their campus's emergency protocols are? Just let that sink in for a second. That's nearly half of the entire community that wouldn't know what to do in a real crisis. That's a huge, huge gap.
Now, to really get why that number is so critical, we have to understand what a university campus actually is. It's not just a bunch of buildings. It's a really unique environment with its own specific set of risks.
I love this phrase, a complex living system, because that's exactly what it is. You've got thousands of people moving around, all connected to vital infrastructure. Think science labs with hazardous materials, massive data centers, priceless archives. In a system like that, safety can't be somebody else's job. It has to be everyone's.
And on a campus, you have these things called risk multipliers. First, you've got tons of people packed into a small area. That's high population density. Then you have an incredible diversity of needs, people speaking different languages, people with different physical abilities, and finally, you've got that high complexity we just talked about. Each one of these things cranks up the potential risk.
Okay, so let's get to the heart of the problem we're talking about today. Researchers call it the invisibility gap, and it's this incredibly dangerous disconnect between having a plan written down somewhere and people on the ground actually knowing about it.
And, at first glance, this looks pretty good. The data shows that a big majority, almost 73% of universities, have official emergency procedures written down. The plans are there. The policies exist. So, what's the problem? Why isn't that enough? And boom, here it is. This is the invisibility gap in black and white. On one side, you've got nearly 3/4 of schools with a plan, but on the other, you've got almost half the students completely in the dark. The communication is just failing. The plans are there, but for all intents and purposes, they're invisible.
And you know what? It gets even deeper. Almost 46% of students don't even know if there's a specialized safety department on their own campus. Think about that for a second. It's one thing to not know the plan. It's a whole other level of vulnerability to not even know who's in charge of making the plan.
Okay, so that's the problem, and yeah, it's pretty alarming. But we're not here just to point out the cracks, we're here to figure out how to build a bridge over them. And the path forward is all about this idea called resilience.
Now, this is not just some corporate buzzword. The United Nations has a great definition. It's the real ability of a community to resist a crisis, to absorb the shock, and to bounce back. It's not about having unbreakable walls. It's about having a strong, prepared, and flexible community. It's something you have to actively build.
So how do you build it? Well, it stands on 3 pillars. The first is infrastructure, the physical stuff, alarms, strong buildings, clear escape routes. The second is organizational, the plans, who does what, the chain of command. And the third, and this is the one we always seem to forget, is the human pillar. That's our own mental readiness, our willingness to help each other, the social glue that holds us together when things get tough.
And that brings it all right back to you and me. Because that human pillar, that readiness, it starts with every single one of us. We have to make the jump from just knowing there's a problem to actually doing something about it.
This is probably the most important question of all, right? After hearing all this, knowing about this invisibility gap, what's the very first real tangible thing you can do to start building that resilience for yourself and for everyone around you?
Here you go, a super simple 3-step action plan. Seriously, you could do this in the next 5 minutes. Number 1, find your campus evacuation plan. I guarantee it's on the university website somewhere. 2, save your campus emergency number in your phone. Do it right now. And 3, just figure out which department handles safety. Look them up. That's it. You've just started to make the invisible visible.
Because at the end of the day, that's what this is all about. A community's resilience is like a chain, and every single person is a link in it. Your preparedness is what makes your link strong. When you know what to do, you're not just keeping yourself safe, you're making the entire chain stronger.
Look, don't let this be the end of it. Keep learning, keep being proactive. If you want to learn more about building a campus that can handle anything thrown at it, check out the DRU project. Thanks for joining me for this one. Stay aware and stay safe.